Okay, and we'll get going. Welcome to Roundtable 68. I think we're 68. Yes, that's correct. General chat is being recorded. Now, this is the general chat in the chat, if that makes sense. So just hover over the Roundtable, click the little speech button, and you can interact and post lots and lots of GIFs, because we like GIFs. They're awesome. So we're now being recorded. Say hi to YouTube. Hello. Weekly maintenance will be tomorrow, 9 AM, as usual. So when the servers do go down tomorrow morning at 9 AM, now you know why. Pretty much we're still getting a general chat full of, is the server down? But yeah, that's why. So this is our weekly event, same time every Tuesday, where we recap the previous week and give us our plans for the coming week. After we're done, we're going to endeavour to answer all of the questions you may have about life choices and fashion and maybe some ARC games, that sort of stuff.
And personal grooming, don't forget that.
And personal grooming. You can deal with the personal grooming. I don't want those pictures. Terrible. So, general news then. Let's start with some general news. It's been a busy week. Obviously, we've had a Rust launch and several other things going on. Been really, really happy with our new mod team. As you've seen in the chat, they're all still busy and hyper and doing things. So I've been seeing quite a few things, interactions with players, help requests, just pointing them in the right direction, reminders about things. I've had things escalated that possibly I would have missed before, so great job. Absolute massive enthusiasm, help with Rust and all that sort of stuff this week has been amazing. So great job, team mods. Also, welcome to our new players and faces. We've seen quite a few new people this week. So yes, you over there, you as well, and you at the back. Hello, welcome. Please say hi. If you're new here, everybody's fairly chill. Get to know people, have a laugh. So, ARC stuff. I think we're minimal on ARC stuff again this week, aren't we? The only thing,
yes,
one thing I did want to just quickly bring to attention is we are aware of the crashing issues that have been affecting the ARC cluster, and I would at this point say it's probably due to one of Wildcard's recent patches. We will be investigating. DJ has been looking at some logs. Do you know any more than I know at the moment?
Yes, I posted what I do know in the mod channel earlier today. Actually, all the crash logs. Well, we've had 4 crashes now, 3 on Fjordjaw and 1 on Extinction.
And a Gen 2.
Since Gen 2, I checked the logs. There's not a single crash log in there for the last 30 days.
I'm sure I repeated Gen 2 for somebody the other day. Okay.
I went through every server, checked all the log folders, and pulled all of the crash stacks out for every server that crashed in the last week. And we have logs going back 30 days for those. Cool. And I came out with 3 Fjordjaws and 1 Extinction, including the one today. So all 3 crashes on Fjordjaw were the same thing, all around player authentication, player connections. And as it so happens, the last 2 patches Wildcard put out were to do with stopping an exploit surrounding authentication and player connections.
Surprise!
Surprise, motherfuckers! Yeah. We're going to break your game. So, it might be that they're not getting any crashes on official vanilla servers. It might be a combination of what they've done plus the plugins and extensions and mods that we run. Getting to the bottom of the root cause of it will be very difficult. We've got quite a lot of updates to do tomorrow for ARC functionality. Nothing that will immediately affect players, just make things easier. But yeah, it does look like something's a bit awry with the latest update. The Extinction crash, that was just unfortunately a usual Extinction crash. It was a PhysX error, and that normally happens when people do OSDs and something funky happens with one of the dynos. So yeah.
Cool.
That's all we got at the moment.
Yeah, which is kind of a good thing. If we've only got one problem with ARC, then I think we're doing well.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have anything specifically for docs before I move on to the big, huge load of blurb I've got?
No, we don't. Just an update on looking into the issues with the center and supply crates not spawning. We have not had time to run that up onto the test server yet and figure that one out.
Yeah.
It is on the list, but it's not high priority at the moment.
It is indeed on the list, and it will be done. It's just been a really, really busy week. So if we're done with Arc, right, I have got a lot of blurb for a lot of other things at the moment, so let's crack on.
Obviously, we'll do a Q&A at the end. So
yes.
Hold your questions. So if any of the Arc players have questions about stuff going on in the Arc cluster, by all means, keep them in mind and hold them till the end of the roundtable.
Yeah, totally. We will be definitely there for questions, and we won't forget that. So quickly rattling through then, so we can get to the fun bit at the end. 7 days. Last mention for 7 days, because I'm still getting a couple of questions, so I thought I'd put it on the roundtable, so if anyone is listening out there, they also get the news. So if you're wondering about where 7 days has gone, 7 days is officially now down, and it will be until such a time that the devs at Funpint sort out their game properly. I would say at least not until A21, when we've got a massive rebuild going on, and I'll evaluate it back then. But we've had so many problems with it. It really isn't worth the stress for both us and the players, to be honest, because nobody likes something that isn't playable. So yeah, 7 days is down. Be coming back later. How do I poke Nani? With a big stick is the answer to that. So, big topic we've got this week then is Rust. So, massive thank you to all those who did week 1 with us. Week 1 is still sort of halfway through. We'll be resetting again on Thursday. So again, thanks to those who turned up, tested, fed back, and in some cases are now helping with development. We've had some really standout players who've come forward and given us quite a lot of information, so thank you again. Turnout wasn't what we expected, but certainly wasn't terrible. This is something that we really shouldn't despair over. It took us a while to establish Arc. It's going to do the same. We had a couple of hiccups, and what was also sort of flew under the radar at the time was they also launched a hardcore mode that day we launched, and they launched a creative mode as well. So obviously I think they also upped some more official servers. So people were all over the place on that day. So do not despair. All is still going very, very well. So feedback from this week, and what have we done? So loot tables are the first thing on the list. There were some reports of certain things not dropping or not in the right quantities. So loot tables have had a huge overhaul, literally massive. Cube's been on that for at least a couple of days, getting the new tables built. So as said, we came across some issues in the first couple of days. We get why they happen now. These are all fixed. You're also going to find improved Hallie and Bradley loot tables. Again, thank you to Cube. Massive stellar job on that. It's been ongoing for a while, and the speed at which things got reacted to was amazing. Really well done. Going in on Wednesday is a slight alteration to the UI. So you're going to be getting buttons added for linking with Discord and the super important info panel. So you will find like a little eye down at the bottom right hand side. When you see that, you can hit that, it'll open the info panel, and that's where you can see kits, rules, commands, VIP perks, all that sort of stuff. Thank you to Cannabis for that. He's been working hard all week. More on that in a minute. And the big one, we noticed that the map was way too big for the amount of people. Although people were there, and there was quite a few on day 1, we were sort of watching around what was going on, spectating, seeing what we could see. And we personally saw a lot of people kind of just miss each other, or if they didn't miss each other, they got quite a long distance to travel between bases. You didn't really see much of anybody really. When spectating, it was funny a couple of times. We actually did watch a player run straight across another player's line of vision, and obviously he was aiming down the sight, so the guy went straight round the side of him. It was hilarious. He scoped at completely the wrong time. And had he not scoped at that point, he'd have seen the guy and probably shot him. So what are we going to do? Map size is going to be reduced. So expect a map about half the size of what we had. There's going to be a brand new seed, which will fix many of the issues that were present on the day 1 map. There'll be more fighting. There'll be bases closer together. It'll push more people into the same POIs. So there's going to be some fighting this time round. if we can keep with the same sort of numbers and people come back for week 2, I think we're going to have a big difference. What say, Cube? I know you can't speak at the moment. You can type. But yeah, it was fun. First week was amazing. Week 2, I think, is going to be better. Going on from that, again, huge thanks to Cube, Mosh, Cannabis, John, and Backy for all the hard work, reference material, bug reporting, fixing, and all the other things that went into that. Pulling players into the server, advertising, all that sort of stuff. Everybody gave 400%. So, absolutely amazing. One thing we've also sorted out as well is a new dev server for Rust. So we have our own GitHub repository, our own development team now, and we're going to be working hard to make sure this is a premium experience for all of you, including producing our own plugins. There's lots and lots going on, and things will only improve quickly because there's been a lot of time spent on it still. So keep with us. Week 2 is going to be super fun, and there's going to be some kills this time. There was some raiding went on last night. Backy went round. Definitely came into our base. I think he blew himself. Yeah, Tube's base definitely got hit. Mosh's base got hit. They tried our base, didn't we, Backy? But couldn't get through our inner doors and ended up blowing himself up. Hilarity ensued. But yeah, it was a good first turnout. It was really cool. Right, let's rattle through then. So I've got some stuff for Conan as well this week because Conan's taking off big time. I've seen more and more players every day on Conan. So first off, foremost, Hail to Sorcery. Whoop whoop. The new update is out. Some things have obviously changed with the server. Those that have been playing since the beginning will have seen the sort of the road bumps that came with the new Sorcery update. Paragon leveling had to go, so that's now a thing of the past. POIs are further protected from people building near them. This is a change that was made by the devs. Thralls are now completely shit. No, I'm joking, actually. More on that in a mo. And the game is undoubtedly ruined / different. I'm joking again, obviously. Builds are now important. The big takeaway from this is builds are huge improvement with builds. If you've played before, you'll know what I mean. There was cookie cutter builds for things. If you deviated from that, you completely ruined your character. They've tried to make it so that builds now mean something, and there are multiple ways you can play. So pay attention to the new stats. Go on, would you get something to insert?
So think World of Warcraft before they ruined it and then made it better again.
Yes. There's now multiple ways you can use multiple things together, and best thing I can say to people who are new is pay attention to the new stats. There's descriptions under all of them. They tell you other things that having that stat. Strength, for example, gives you the ability to carry more. So you have to think if you're not having strength, you're also going to be carrying less things. Every single stat has perks along the way as well. Very, very carefully read and match up those perks because some of them together are massively cool. Some of the perks there are choices. So again, read both choices, see how you want to play. And there's some very, very powerful builds going around at the moment. I've seen both agility and strength builds. And to be honest, sorcery builds as well. Chrissy's got a pretty good one. Do really cool stuff that just couldn't be done before. It's before things were very, very linear. You had one build. If you got overwhelmed by 10 or more guys, you were pretty much toast. We got into some crap the other day up in one of the big Sumerian camps, and the amount of guys you can tank now in heavy armor is amazing. So moving on, as I said about pets, special mention for pet builds and thralls this week. Absolutely, pets have had a good nerfing. Thralls too. They absolutely have. They did need it. They were completely strong. Thralls especially were massively strong. So from now on, if you plan to have a thrall tank or a strong pet, this is the good bit as well, as you can actually influence the pets now more than you could before, making them more viable. You need skill for it. Is it command, the skill? You need to go full on command, and you get a choice at the top end of that tree. You either get a very, very strong thrall that's going to inherit some of your stats, or you'll get authority. Sorry, thanks, Scott. It was authority you need to spec into. So at the end of the authority tree, you get two options, basically. You get to be Super strong thrall, exactly like you had before. They inherit some of your stats. Pets now also inherit this, which is a major improvement if you ask me. And you should also be wearing pet bonus armor and thinking about what foods you need to feed your pet. So some of the better recipes now will actually dictate how your thrall behaves, give it more bonus attack, that sort of stuff. So there's now way more you can do with pets than you had before. You've got to think of it now as more of a like back to the Warcraft reference, like a hunter build, Beastmaster Hunter. You play second fiddle, you play pet management, and the pet kicks the crap out of everything. So it's definitely better. There's a lot more you can do now, but it was an initial shock, I think. So just get used to the builds, pay very, very close attention, and if you need help, post in the chats, and I'm sure people will share some decent builds. We've got at least a decent agility, build and a strength build going now. Sorcery I've not tried, but I'm sure Chris can help out with sorcery build stuff. It's all still very complicated. And you can corrupt your stats now as well, so you can change your stats into different stats. It's crazy. I've not even got that far yet. Next piece of information then. New plugins are going to start being evaluated soon. We have a couple in the works. I know it's exciting, but we are mere humans. And we've had a very, very busy week. So totally not forgotten about Conan. You know we're all currently playing it, so that's going to get some love soon as well. I believe we've got what we need ready now for us next week. So we should be pretty cool and in a position where we can start to look at Conan again.
So
Yeah, carry
I
on.
was thinking, just a reminder to everybody out there, the reason we're talking about Conan so much is all of our supporters have access to Conan Exile server.
Yes.
And also, because of the launch of version 3 of Conan and Sorcery and the kind of free add-on that they've just put out, Conan's on sale as well. I think it's a massive, was it 71% off or something?
It's about to 10 or into something.
It's quite cheap.
Yeah.
So if you're a supporter, you're wondering where a whole chunk of the Wicked Ninja supporters have disappeared to, it's our private Conan server. So if you're a supporter and you want to try out a game that's like Ark, except with more vicious things going on, and a bit of a storyline to it,
Yeah.
different storyline, and dungeons and progression and skill trees and crafting and building and pets and thralls and slaves and all that kind of cool stuff, grab a really cheap copy of Conan and hop on the server.
Yeah. It's a fun game. Everybody seems to be having massive amounts of fun, and to be fair, it's took off way more than I thought it would. Building is quite nice there, yeah. $5.99 on CD keys. Bargain. Cheap as chips.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. That is bargainous for the game. It is a good game. You've got dungeons, you've got world bosses to defeat. There's quite a bit of cooperation going on at the moment. Yeah, for £6, it's a steal. Thoroughly recommended for £6. And plus, yeah, it is also free to play for another couple of days. So if you, yeah, don't worry about the DLCs, don't worry about the battle pass. It's all cosmetic. Just forget it. £6, job done. Tons of fun. So moving on and kind of leading into that, it has been getting rather busy. Just want to remind people, pay attention to where you build. We are having increasing amounts of people building too close to others and limiting their build area, or building over the top of boss spawns. Places where common pets are found, meaning they no longer spawn. You know, it needs a little bit of control. So what I'm thinking is at some point we have a chat, and between the players, as the players are what's important, and it is a supporter server, we come up with a set of rules that are agreeable with everybody, and we start to sort out how we want to envision where we're going with the server.
So you mean we're not just going to flag their base for PvP and have everyone gank?
No, that's another way out. How does everybody feel about a mass PvP event / apocalypse? Yeah, I know you would. I can't see everybody else sharing the same sentiment though, really.
I think it's an excellent way of dealing with it. Oh, you've built in this spot where I want to spawn. Ah, I'll just blow you up.
I would kill you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. Also, because of server size increase and things like that, please make sure you secure your stuff. Gates, walls, defenses. Accidents are going to happen. We did have a case this morning of what I believe to be a major accident. New players are increasing. Not everybody's played Conan before. It is vicious when you first start, and we've all done that run across the map with 200 things tailing us and a giant crocodile trying to take the backs of our legs off. So make sure you're familiar with the decay rules, be respectful to others, and we will not be tolerating anybody griefing or tantrums in chat. It's not going to happen. So grow up or get out of the server. Everybody's an adult. Accidents will and do happen. Learn from it and let's all move on. Leading into, again, if we have a chat between the people who are on very, very regular, and there's quite a few of you, we will come to some sort of agreement between us on how we move on, how we move forward, and what people would like to see as a base set of rules. I'm sure we're all up for that, right?
I mean, if you can't, then obviously we will make them up for you.
Yes. If people can't get on and can't agree, then yeah, we're going to have to put something in place. But I would rather, as it is at the moment, being really, really modelled by the players, I would like you to have some input. So we'll have a chat about that later. So that's our gaming information for today. Questions?
Do we have any?
Do we have any? Have you been saving them up? What would any of you like to ask? Server restarts and maintenance. With each maintenance thingy, does the server do automatic while dino wipes for each one? Or does it happen a specific day? Sunday is the specific day for dino wipes, eggs, nests, and that sort of stuff. Yeah, look at that. Maybe we should add into the Sunday bit what actually goes on there. We can do that, can't we? So like dinosaur wipe, egg wipe, etc. Hey up. No, you're showing off.
I am prepared.
Do we have any more questions? It can be Conan, it can anything you want.
It's a good place to actually get that information out there. Restart schedules, maintenance schedules, and how the decay works on Arc.
Tula's furiously typing. Okay.
In the meantime, I got a question about Conan. How far south do those vicious death-killing sandstorms go? Do they go over the noob area as well, south of the river?
Do you know I don't spend enough time south of the river to actually know that? They probably do. Yes, they do. There you go. Cuddly Cliff. That is a very good question here.
The incubation timer is now, but it takes the same time to mature as a giga. That is intentional. It's part of the mod, I believe. There's nothing that we've changed there.
Yeah, and all the usual rates we've got would apply to them. So I'm guessing because they're trank gods, they were intended to be like that. new information though we didn't know. So thank you for that. Anybody else? Before we slink off into the sunset, drinking margaritas and put our feet up.
I am going to actually, before we all go,
Yeah.
I want people's impressions on the first two episodes, not the third one, the first two episodes of Rings of Power. I mean, come on, I haven't watched them yet, and my plan is to watch one tonight, but I just want to know people's general impression.
I've watched all three
Don't do
now.
it.
I wanted to hate it. I really did. And I've heard all the woke stuff about it. But the first three, open mind, ain't too bad.
Well, if I just pick it up and watch it as a show without actually, I haven't read anything about it, I haven't watched any spoilers, listened, done anything like that. Just want to know, does it feel like a quality show?
Their visuals are
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
So,
Visuals
well,
are cool.
it cost over $1 billion, so
Yeah.
bloody better be. But what I'm thinking is most TV shows when they first start out, the first like half a dozen episodes, it is the actors finding their feet.
Yeah.
That really no show gets into its own until you're like halfway through the first season. So I kind of expect the performances to be a little bit off. They haven't been working together long. It's like,
Yeah.
it's kind of like new thing.
House of the Dragon, I think, is the better show so far, and I can't wait for the next episode. That's cool. But Rings, it wasn't terrible, and I'm willing to watch more.
I've always had an issue with watching prequels, but I've been proven wrong and a few times in recent months about watching stuff like that, and it's been quite good.
Love and Thunder's on Disney on, is it Thursday or Friday now as well? 4-1?
Yeah, that was the problem, Cube. That I envisage with prequels. You always know where it's going to end up, but if the prequel is completely disconnected from the sequel, then it doesn't necessarily happen that way.
The Boys is amazing.
Yeah,
That's my most favourite thing
good.
ever. I was hooked from like 2 minutes into first episode and couldn't wait for more. It's just the best thing I've ever seen. Due to the fact it's so different.
Until your parents are visiting and your mum happens to walk in just as you're watching the start of the final season of The Boys with a tick. Anyway.
Yeah. The first minute, I knew nothing about it. I was just recommended it and said, you got to watch this. And okay, my sister, I think it was. And the first minute where the speedster does what the speedster does, and I was just jaw on the floor like, it's just so good.
Okay, Expanse, I agree with. That's a good one.
Still got that on my watch list.
Again, that was another one. It took a few episodes to get going before you kind of like really got into it. But I really enjoyed it.
Let's go controversial. She-Hulk. Who's watched She-Hulk?
I can't say I have.
I watched the first two. It's cringe, and I don't know what the dude who plays Banner, what's his name, Ruffalo. I don't know what he was thinking.
Okay. Here's one for you all out there. A show called Altered Carbon by it's on a Netflix show.
I've heard of that.
It's into 3 seasons now. The
Witch is still on my watch list as well.
Yeah, I'm on the last episode of the current run of Witcher. Really enjoyed it.
What's Carbon
Thoroughly
about?
enjoyed it.
What is Altered Carbon?
Think Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay.
But actually decent.
Cool.
Well written, good storyline, good acting. Again, take a few episodes to get into it, but once you do, and you've got to pay attention to it as well. The Witcher, absolutely loved it. I can't put it down. The theme tune for it as well is just gets in your head. Every time I fire up my Plex box and the theme tune kicks off because I happen to have flicked over this series, it's good.
It made you feel sick. In a good way or a bad way? Nauseatingly
Oh,
bad, okay. Yeah, I keep hearing very good things about The Witcher as well, which is why it's sitting there waiting to be watched. I've got too many things lined up and audiobooks as well, and not enough time in the
The
day.
Witcher, the Witcher TV show is a prequel to the games.
Again, they're sitting in my Steam library ready to play. All
Well,
three of them.
actually, never played The Witcher. Started playing The Witcher 1, pimped it up in mods to bring it up to date, and it's a brilliant game. Difficult, but brilliant. Combat system. Well, as soon as you figure out what the hell you're doing, it's really quite good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
reinstalled it the other
Witcher
day.
1.
I reinstalled 3 the other day. I was meaning to give that a go.
Well, they are in sequence, if you know what I mean.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
play the first one leads into the second one, which leads into the third one. So okay, we've done TV shows and games.
Yeah.
I think that just about covers it.
Anyone else got any weird conversation they'd like to get into before we call it a night? Yes, audiobooks, Becky. Yes,
Audiobooks,
books are
love them.
amazing. I got wardrobes full of them. Love books.
Problem with books is storing them.
Yes, and I can't get rid of mine. It's something I can't do, and I'll probably die with them.
See now, Nani's got a copy of Metro to play.
I have.
I've got Metro 1, 2, and 3 to play through as well.
Yeah. I was looking at that the other day as well. It was a toss up between installing that or installing The Witcher, and I was still unsure which. Maybe play both.
In all honesty, I would go for Metro because it'll take you less time and give you more enjoyment.
Okay.
Witcher, I think, is a long play.
Yes, I've heard that. Lots and lots and lots of content.
Give me 1 sec. I'm just changing the batteries in my headphones.
That's for sure. Looking forward to the Last of Us show and the Horizon Zero Dawn show. Yes. There's
Right, there we go.
lots of good stuff.
Headphones done. I love these. A little while ago, well, I've always had wireless headphones, but they all piss me off because you've got to plug them in to charge them and stuff like that.
It's the battery
But
dying that does it, though.
yeah, and then after a couple of years, the battery life on them is just absolutely shockingly bad. So I went out and bought myself a pair of Steel Series. They have a lithium-ion swappable battery in one of the ear cups with a magnetic cover over the top. So if you're playing a game and your battery runs out, you pop the cover off while you're playing, pop the battery out of the side of the base unit because you push it into the base unit to charge it, stick another one in your headphones, put the cover back on, and carry on. So it took me probably about 15 seconds there to do a battery change.
They are amazing. I have a pair too.
Anyways,
It was the biggest peeve of mine is like £100-200 pair of headsets, and then the battery goes, and you're just left with this brick of expensive shit that still works with no battery. Terrible.
and peeps be like, oh, but you can plug them in. Well, I didn't buy wireless headphones to plug them in.
It's just a battery thing, I suppose. Blacklist is amazing.
Yeah.
That's also good. Peaky Blinders, also worth a watch. If you're into that sort of thing. Cobra Kai, yeah. I couldn't get into it, although I saw the appeal. I just couldn't. Really? We're probably going to get to see more and more of that going on there.
I'm pretty sure I've got Blacklist. Well, I've watched all of it, but
It's one of the
What
things.
season I watched up to though?
Liz used to be big on that, so I was made to watch the Blacklist and Peaky. So there we go. Also covering entertainment news now.
Hey, why not? You know,
Stranger Things. That was so good. Yeah. The metal was that was so good. Ride the Lightning. Was it Master? No, it's Master of Puppets, wasn't it? Yeah. So good. I really hope they do another one. No. They can't finish Stranger Things. I won't allow it. Just the cast and everything is so good. They've just nailed it. More than anything has in modern time, I think. What? 11 will not die. Don't say that. That's made me sad now. We're
anyways,
going to end on that point. That's made me sad now.
I think we should.
Okie dokie then. So we have been the Wicked Ninjas. You have all been awesome as per usual. Thank you. Good night, and we will see you next week.
Goodbye.
Bye bye. Hey, we love those goodbye gifts.